Today we're going to be talking about practice recitals and how they may be the most important recitals that you do with your child. Welcome to Adventures in Suzuki Parenting. I'm Jody St. Clair, and this is Adventures in Suzuki Parenting. So we know that performance is a cornerstone of learning to play an instrument. It can be very motivating, but it also can be a little terrifying. I think most people have some sort of jitters, anxiety, nervousness around getting up and performing for people. Often really young children do not, but not always. I've had young children who really immediately have a fear of performing, of getting up and doing something in front of a crowd. And I've had many young children who don't seem to have a lot of nervousness around performing. So no matter where your child is on that kind of spectrum of stage fright, doing practice recitals is really helpful. What is a practice recital? A practice recital is very informal, and it's a chance to kind of practice doing a recital. The easiest way is to just make a situation where the parent and the child are practicing their normal practice, but they do a slightly more formal practice recital, including bows, including finishing and beginning and all of that, just to kind of practice the routine of what you're going to do when you're on the stage. And this is really important for young children who haven't done very much recital practice, although even some of my veterans, they still need to do it because a lot of times then they forget about the bows when they get a little bit older, and they forget about the kind of the manners of what to do on stage. So I really think that no matter what age, everybody should be doing some practice recitals. A slightly more formal way is to ask a neighbor or a grandparent or a friend over and to do a little mini recital for them. We often do these over FaceTime or Skype because our grandparents don't live in the same city that we do. But that's another kind of way that you can facilitate this. And grandparents love to see their grandkids. They're a great supportive adult audience. We've also often done it when my child is having a play date, and maybe that day is a particularly hard day to practice because we're having this great play date, and where are we going to fit practice in? So kind of instead of practicing, we do a practice recital over the play date so that their friend gets to hear a piece or two pieces, and then they go on and do their playing. So that's been a really easy way to kind of integrate doing practice recitals in a daily life kind of situation. It's a really low risk environment. So you could even have, for a young child, a practice recital with cozy friends or stuffed animals, something like that, so that they're really getting that experience of kind of going through the routine again, but it's super low risk. And then when we get into a slightly more risky environment, even if it's being presented as a low risk environment, I try to keep my recitals kind of presented as a low risk environment, but it still feels more risky. And then when we are in that situation, it doesn't feel so foreign and unusual. I posted on my page recently, a parent had an idea about doing review pieces with costume on and making it kind of more of a performance. And that is another form of practice recital, right? Okay, so taking your review pieces and making them special in some way. that feel more like a performance, whether it be putting a costume on or doing a tour around the house or something like that. So lots of ideas around what you can make these practice recitals and make performing just part of your regular life. Why are these little practice recitals so important? Why can't a kid just get up there and do the recital and then not do it again for how many months? 3 months, 4 months, who knows? But the reason that those practice recitals are so important is just so that it feels like a normal thing to be doing. It's not, it makes it so that when we have a big recital, a studio recital or a book graduation or something like that, that it's not out of the ordinary to be playing for people. So the more often that you're kind of integrating these practice recitals, the more relaxed the larger recitals are going to be. It gives us room to experiment. A practice recital, it can be a piece of the new piece. It can be something that they played 3 years ago. It can be something that is just their favorite and it's not, or it could be something that's kind of not what you would normally do for a recital anyway. So, it just gives you room to kind of be playful with it, to make performing just part of the play, of just make that performing part of experimentation with the instrument. That experimentation and that playfulness, I'm always looking for ways to kind of inject that into our practice. And I think that this is a really fun way to do it. If we want to be comfortable playing and performing, we need to be able to do lots of small performances. I know in my personal history, I didn't always have that mentality. And when I wasn't practicing my performances and just playing in that low risk environment, I never performed very well. It made the higher risk environment feel higher risk. It was like the one time that I got to do this piece, and then if I screwed it up, that was it. So, by making it part of our more daily life, making it part of our practice routine, it makes it so that when we do the studio recital, if there's a little mess up, it's just one of the many performances that we're doing, not the performance that we're doing. So if you haven't been integrating some practice recitals into your practice at home, please consider how you can add that in. It could really be part of something that you're doing already, and fairly easily added in. If you are doing practice recitals and you have a different idea about how you could do, how you might be able to do it, or how you've been doing it at home, I would love to hear what you have in the comments so that we can get some more ideas of what kind of practice recitals you're doing. Maybe your child has a really favorite way to perform their review pieces or show what they've been learning. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please click like and subscribe. It helps me so much to know that you are enjoying the content of this video and that you want to be alerted for future videos and every time they come out. Happy practicing.